Welcome to this week's episode of the DIY Detail Podcast. Now, you see the garage in Omaha behind me, but today we are headed to FoamTown USA, where the mayor of FoamTown is joining us, Jamie the Cleaner, one of the hottest names. One of the hottest names in detailing social media, my friend. And I say FoamTown because you talk about FoamTown a lot. So I guess, first of all, I could just stop talking and say hi.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm here having a good time. Ready to talk some DIY detail.
Thanks for being on today, brother.
Before the stream, I used to be the DIY guy, just giving stuff a try on my YouTube channel. So it's pretty funny.
So you started. So we stole your name, is what you're saying?
You kind of stole my name. I think someone watched one of my old videos. Was like, that's pretty good.
That guy's got something that we should probably steal.
That's right.
And capitalize on it. Isn't that the way that capitalism works, though?
It's pretty much how it works, you know. That's kind of what I did with FoamTown USA, you know. And
wait,
foam and flip.
So FoamTown USA, so on Instagram, you do all these foaming videos and you come up with all your concoctions of different solutions for cleaning wheels. Where did FoamTown USA come from? I'd like to be just clear about this, that the best soap in FoamTown USA, as per your channel,
is
Incredible
Suds. Number one rated foam cannon soap. Just so happens to be Incredible Suds from DIY Detail. It sure is, Nick.
What is FoamTown USA?
FoamTown USA is just, kind of the fun hashtag I came up with. So I kind of blew up on TikTok over the last year and a half or so. And I did a bunch of foam cannon videos. I was even challenged by other detailers to do foam offs. And that's where I stole someone's foam cannon flip idea. I was in the middle of a foam off. I forgot what we called it. I don't remember what it was called. But after all that, I started flipping the foam cannon, came up with the hashtag FoamTown USA, reviewing all the soaps, and that's just kind of how it's been going.
So you started on YouTube and then went to TikTok.
Yeah.
And if folks don't know you on TikTok, you're hard to miss because you have so many videos. But tell me about how you got into YouTube, and sort of how that all started. You started as the DIY guy?
I was the DIY guy. So YouTube. So before I started YouTube and detailing, I was already detailing on the weekends. But on my weekends, I was kind of detailing, and some weekends I would do jiu-jitsu and stuff. And then eventually one year I tried to go hardcore into pro wrestling. I was like, I'm going for it. This is what we're going to do. A wrestler in Shreveport, Louisiana opened up a wrestling school. His name was Big Daddy Yum Yum. And it was, called, Super Pro Wrestling or something. But I was the first student, signed up before the first day, showed up, started training with him. I trained for a full year, getting ready to do my pro debut. And then my kneecap, went sideways or something, got injured. So after that, that kind of lets you know I have this creative bone or whatever it's called, creative nerve that I need to flex.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a low key, dry sense of humor. It's a very interesting, you're one of one, and I mean that in a complimentary way.
No, I like it.
You're a character.
That's right. So the pro wrestling went sideways, recovered from that. I was like, well, that's not happening. And so instead, on my 3-day weekend, I weld at a tractor shop here in Coshada. And then on my weekend, I would do the extracurricular activities. It was before kids. Now,
you mentioned a city name, state, for the people who are listening.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana, Coshada, Louisiana. Originally from Campty, Louisiana, which is about 20 minutes that way. Shreveport is 45 minutes the other way, a little north of Coshada. So I was driving to Shreveport for that wrestling camp or whatever. But anyway, got through that, and then I needed something to do on the weekends. So detailing. I started detailing on my weekends pretty hardcore. Every weekend, at least had a car, that kind of deal. And started making YouTube videos and reviewing products.
As a part-time or weekender?
Yes.
And it wasn't because of YouTube that you went full-time, but when did you go full-time?
Full-time was COVID. Whenever, I don't know, I think it was the end of COVID maybe, because I was starting, so my YouTube was going. The tractor company kind of got wind of my YouTube channel. They were real interested, so they wanted me to be the social media guy, but they didn't want to take me out the welding shop. So I was working 2 welding and the social media. I was making them videos because we were doing all kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm burnt out with this, don't give you a raise, that kind of deal. So cut ties with them. I do my own thing.
Do more with the same amount. Yep. Got it.
Yeah. Start my own thing, Jamie the Cleaner LLC. So I guess into 2020. So it's been 3 years now, 2 years, somewhere like that.
And how does it feel to be you in 2023?
Feeling pretty good. I like, doing your own thing, full-time detailing. You like detailing, it's fun. And, embrace the grind kind of deal. And I try and get off for the weekends, but, it doesn't happen sometimes. So not just power through 7 days a week.
That's a rough go of it. I mean, you said the grind, but I mean, you've chosen to be a cleaner, right? Which is an interesting thing. I mean, I went to carpet cleaning technician school, so I choose to clean cars and carpets, and so we can dissect that all you want. But that's like not everyone's aspiration to be a cleaner, and your name is Jamie the Cleaner. Like, what do you like about detailing? Like, what is it about detailing where it's like, okay, you didn't want to be in the welding shop, so this is something you could do, but I mean, you chose this. You may have gotten into it by accident. I don't know how you feel about it, but why have you chosen right now, at least in your life, detailing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. It just kind of something I was always doing to my own vehicles. Like even my first car was like a 96 Ford Taurus. I say it was paint peeling, wheeling and squealing.
Yeah.
Brakes were bad on it. And, I washed that car like every week. I'd vacuum it out, had my little Black Friday, shop vac, and I kept that mug clean.
Oh, you got a deal on the vacuum too, huh?
Oh yeah, dude. I ran a Black Friday shop vac for probably till like a couple years ago.
Like with the cordless one?
No. It was like a little corded, like 3 gallon.
Yeah.
Little shop vac. It was great. I love those things.
I think a vacuum is a big deal. I've tried Eddie's Master Blaster Extreme Vacuum. That thing is probably like $900. I don't know. But that thing sucks like nothing. It's like a car wash vacuum, right? When you pull into the, after you get your car washed and you pull out the vacuum. And I mean, it's pretty amazing.
So that is something I've been underestimating all these years. And I actually just got Eddie to review it on his channel because I was so interested in it. I was like, if you can convince me if you can sell me on this $800 vacuum, I'll buy one.
Do you think did it convince you that it's worth the money or no?
Yeah. No, he timed it. It's like twice as fast. And once I saw him using it, I was like, oh, it started clicking. Like you were saying, it's like a car wash, industrial power, vacuum.
Like you put your hand up and it's like, it just pulls it. And I know this is a podcast for our brand and we're way out, but I'd like to talk about things that people care about, right? This is about detailing. So generally I think we're okay. Speaking of, if Ivan's listening, because Ivan, I know, is the master of efficiency and staying on topic. Ivan got sick and he's recovering. He's almost there, but having a tough time talking. It was actually after the Chicago Auto Pros event. He got a cold, and I think you got kind of sick after that too, right, Jamie? Yeah,
me too. I was sick for about a week after that, and then I was fine, and then my wife never recovered, and then we all got sick again.
That's so wild.
So I'm like, what in the world?
Because you think you got sick, so you're good. You're like, I'm gonna be all right, and then you get the double whammy. Those are rough, man.
Yeah. So I had 2 big trips in April, one to TRCMA in Boise, and then one in Chicago for the Car Supplies Warehouse thing. And I was overdosing on vitamin C the whole month, so I was like prepped, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yep. So it held together all the way until like that last day of the event, and you saw I was kind of going downhill.
Well, it's hard when you're working those long days and you're talking to people and you're being social and you're engaging, and it's just and then life continues on, and sometimes the body just says it's time to rest. So Ivan will be back on the podcast next week, we think, and then we're going to be live in Omaha together doing a bunch of stuff for a couple of weeks, shooting videos. So we're excited about that. But yeah, the Master Blaster vacuum, I think it's the last sort of uncharted territory in detailing. Is like, and I know that Matt from Obsessed Garage is doing a lot of vacuum videos and stuff too. But
I was about to say that was kind of his last, like you said, last frontier. He's like, well, now we got to figure out this vacuum deal. So
because he did the pressure washing with the Kranzles and the Cox reels and all that, and so maybe it's already been specced out by Matt, right? I haven't seen any of his videos recently, but I think the power of a vacuum is. I mean, think about how often you're going to use that as a detailer.
Yeah, that's why I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it, because I'm like, this ought to speed things up for sure. And like
Wait.
Eddie was saying, that adds up every car.
You bought the Master Blaster vac?
It's on the way, buddy. It's on the way.
Woo! How did that go
Right.
over with your wife?
We don't tell her that.
Oh boy.
That goes on the business expense.
I've been there, done that, man. That's hey, you do what you got to do. If I had a chance to do it over again, because that didn't work out so well, I would be very communicative and truthful about all things. Because that was the one
Well,
thing.
unlike your situation, mine comes to the house and then I set it up in the garage. That's how it is.
Yeah, but there's no hiding it. I get it. But I mean, I bought like the Kranzla pressure washer. I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't deceptive on purpose. I just like stopped talking about the things that, because you could buy so much stuff with detailing.
Yeah.
You can buy so many different products and tools. And the reality is there's so many great things out there to try, And that's why it's like, if you could find us first, that's my whole thing. Is like, there's another brand or two out there that a lot of people start with, and then they end up, falling for the marketing or whatever, and then they end up moving on, right? But it's like,
Right.
if you could find us online through a YouTube video on how to decontaminate your car or do a one-step polish or apply ceramic coating and then try the stuff, it's like, oh, this stuff's awesome. And you still kind of know and like Ivan and myself, and you're like, you have a feeling like you know us, and we're going to be there to help you. Go experiment, go play the field, go try other stuff. But like, it's nice when the stuff is good enough the first time, so that people don't have to leave. And if they do, they may come back, right? And so that's sort of the goal. But the humble part of me is like, people are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to like try whatever they want, and I encourage that. But just to be like, good enough for when you try us, just know that like there's other great products out there too, but like we are the real deal,
Yeah, that's what kind of going back to starting YouTube. That's what kind of starts you, beginning beginner stages of the detailing YouTube channel. For most people, is like, there's got to be better products than what I've got right now.
Yeah,
I'm just going to start reviewing them and documenting kind of my progress with products. And yeah, DIY's the real deal.
Yeah, and you talk about all different kinds of products on your channel, so I don't want to even pin you down and say you're sponsoring this thing and you love all our products or blah, blah, blah. Like, we haven't even had a chance to talk about this, but I see the coatings right behind you.
Yeah.
And you've had a chance to try any of them, a few of them, at least the 8-year. Talk about
the
your experience with the
graphene
coatings.
3-year and the 8-year. And I'm going to use the 5-year this afternoon or in the morning, because I got a car here that I'm going to coat with it. So I've used all 3 by the end of this weekend.
Okay. I haven't asked you to say good or bad things, so I'm opening up the floor, sir. Do you have any thoughts on our new ceramic coating lines?
They seem quite powerful.
Yeah.
That kind of way. They let you know right off the bat they are very professional level, especially the graphene one, to say the least.
So there's a smell.
There's quite the odor with these coatings, but that's kind of leads to letting you know that they're professional right off the bat. You should take them very seriously. Make sure you know your P's and Q's before you're ready for a DIY coating.
I mean, there are a lot of brands out there that are marketing companies, and someone on that team may or may not be a detailer, but they figured out how to market and to do that well.
Yeah.
Ivan and I are detailers, right? And so like it says it on our shirt, a professional grade. And that's true. So what we wanted to do is make these good enough for guys like you who are running professional shops, businesses, what have you, to put these on cars, and you're in the game. These are professional products. So there's a smell to them. And I will tell you that the quality's there. But if you feel the need to wear a respirator, always encouraging people to take whatever steps they need to be safe. I always like to wear gloves, even when I'm washing a car.
Right. Yeah.
Just because.
Always PPE up.
Dude, I wash my own dishes just with soap and water, and my hands get all dry just from hand washing dishes. I always forget to put the gloves on there, and that's a reminder that this is like a gentle dishwashing soap. So, talking about car wash chemicals, it's like, just wear gloves, do what you got to do if that's what you feel so inclined to do. Okay, so how about user friendly, right? Like, and again, I've tried some of the more marketing company coatings before. Incredibly easy to apply. Durability wasn't really there, but like, did it have to be, right? So kind of curious about your experience in terms of, okay, taking the scent out of it, like what it was like to actually coat the car.
Easy peasy.
Easy.
Yep. Crosshatch, rainbows, wipe off, good to go. You just follow the signs of coating, and you're gonna have an easy time. And the rainbow effect of these coatings are real prominent, I think. So it gives you a real clear indicator when you should know to wipe off.
Yeah, I mean, you have up to 5 minutes. That's the level time. But
Nice.
when about half of the product disappears or flashes off the paint, that's when it's a good time to level. So I think I chatted with you a couple weeks ago, and you said it was.
Mhm.
I said, how long did you wait before you leveled? And you were like, pretty much right away.
Pretty much right away. It was the 8-year coating, and I'm an open air garage, so
And humid in
it's
Louisiana.
quite hot and humid at the moment right now as we're going into June. And pretty much wipe on, walk over, get my 2 towels. That's about 15, 20 seconds.
Yep.
And then I come back, and it's like super rainbow. Like,
Well, and that's the thing.
like,
And I've talked
ready
to
to
Ivan
go.
about this too. It's like pretty much after 30 seconds, you're good to wipe it off. But if you're getting a ton of coating in your towel,
right.
and you're fighting it and your towel's getting wet, it's still a little
wet.
early. So there's a few different indicators, right? There's the minimum of 30 seconds. There's the 50% has disappeared off the paint. And then there's the wet towel. Is it hard to wipe off? So I think visually the best thing to do is just 50% disappeared, and then just go ahead, and if it's an easy wipe off and your towel's not getting soaked, you're good to go.
Yeah, me and Rick from Rad Garage were sitting in Chicago, and everybody's talking about coatings and getting real specific with the flash times and this and that. And Rick slowly turns around to me and he goes, "Smear it on, wipe it off." At the end of the day, if you buy a coating and you want to coat your car, just apply it, and you're a little nervous about it, just smear it on, wipe it off, and you're still going to get a pretty good coated car for quite some time.
Yeah, and then you're splitting hairs after that as to whether it had enough time. But
on a more professional level like me, I should wait, really see that flash happen, and make sure the transfer solution's done its job, and then get it off the paint.
Yep. But as you said,
wipe on, wipe off.
It's going to work.
It's going to work. Yeah, it's going to work.
It's going to work great.
Yeah.
So you've had a chance to try all kinds of products under the sun, and you're always coming up with these TikTok videos. Do you have any cool hacks or efficiency tricks? Just not even from a product necessarily, but just because you're a detailer doing this every day that you've discovered recently, you're like, that was so cool. And I did a video about it, or you're like thinking about doing a video about it. Because I love those moments when you're like, or like even the other day, I had a soft bristle toothbrush, that I took out of the packaging, and I'm like, I wonder how this works. I'm like, this is great on the Porsche steering wheel. Like, screw all these big fancy like detail brushes. I'm like,
yeah, because you can't
going back to my roots.
Yep, because the toothbrush, it has that angle on it, so the bristles are going here, and you're holding it like this.
Yep.
You can get a good scrub. Where the detail brushes, you can't get a good scrub on like a steering wheel with those things. That's
I'm just
why.
saying, like, and it was just me, just like in the moment, just grabbing it. And I know that's not an original one, but it was like, oh, I still got it. Like I don't know. Just have you had any of those moments recently?
So recently, I don't know. I just filmed today a rinseless wash video, and that's once you master like a rinseless wash and you really get your system down. I mean, that is a real hack to getting through that wash process, and even decon, and just getting into the good stuff, polishing and coating. But mastering rinseless wash is one. Like you said at the beginning, I like to mix a couple chemicals. I don't get crazy, and I'm not mixing stuff to make mustard gas. It's stuff that makes sense, like my iron remover with my wheel cleaner and my foamer. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
How has that worked for you? I know it's different brands, but like, does the chemist ever tell you that doesn't work, or like, what do you think it is about mixing an iron remover and an all-purpose cleaner or wheel? Like, how do you know it's working, or do you just think it is, or
no? You see it. It bleeds. It bleeds like the iron remover, and the wheel and tire cleaner browns the tire. That's pretty much the indicators you need to know it's working.
So just on all-purpose cleaner, or is it all-purpose cleaner with your iron remover combo?
So if I was doing a DIY mix, I'd take my all clean. I'd do it 10-to-1 in my IK foamer, and then I'd probably pour half the 16 ounce, so 8 ounces of iron remover in one jug of distilled water. That's probably what I would do for a DIY mix.
Maybe you should try it.
Maybe I should try it. Give it a little DIY mix and check it out. I think I'll check it out.
Hey man,
For me, it just makes sense to to do that for years, I was spraying the iron remover, letting it do its thing, and then coming over it with the wheel cleaner. I'm like, well, if it's working like this, why can't I just mix it and foam it all in one go? And it is more, if you get something real bad, you want that iron remover to be straight on there and do its job.
Okay.
It's mostly a maintenance mix, but you can push it to its limit sometimes. I do.
So do you do this on a dry wheel or do you do it on a wet wheel? Like, do you wet rinse first or do you spray it on dry? Like, what are your philosophies around wheel cleaning?
So here, usually a vehicle shows up and I get to work on it. So it's probably gonna be pretty warm, or it's just like it is now and it's just hot. It's stuff flashes on wheels so fast, even if they've been sitting there in the shade for, all day. So I'm rinsing first, no matter what. It's just hot. So I'm not
trying to cool it down.
Anything flashing. Yeah, I'm cooling it down and then spraying on.
Do you have hard water there? Do you have a water softener?
So just rehooked up my CR spotless system, and I did a mod on it where you pack it with sand yourself because you get like 40% extra kind of lifespan out of it. And the meter on it read 500 ppm, I believe it is.
Okay.
Parts per million. So I think 500 is pretty bad.
And then do you get a lot of water spots if you don't do that?
Oh goodness. Yeah. So if you let something dry at all, yeah, it's not a good time. So I've really perfected, like I have now, like, can we talk about different brands?
Say whatever you want. Well, I was curious, do you only use the spotless water strategically so you save the resin, or like how do you make? This is something a DIYer out there might benefit from. How can you get the most out of your spotless water system at home?
I'm very cautious with it because it is pretty expensive. So I only use it if it's a direct sunlight and we're not going, like it's a maintenance wash and we're not going to be doing any polishing, or I'm trying to do it as fast as possible. I don't want like an extra step anywhere. So I hook it up, wash, dry, you're good to go. But if there's going to be polishing involved, I'll wash the car, all day in direct sunlight and pull it in, dry it, and then you're going to polish it all anyway. So yeah, that kind of deal.
All right, free reign. Say what you want to say, Jamie. I don't care. It's the DIY Detail podcast, but people like you because you're who you are. So what were you going to talk about earlier?
I have like a secret weapon. Yeah, like Coach Kimmy has this quick detailer that's acidic. It's like a 2 pH.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like that's my secret weapon if stuff's not going well. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm a little slow that day. Maybe, I don't know, something super hot day or something. Wash, rinse, pull out the FSC, soak it down. You put it in the towel, dry it off, and that, takes care of any residual water spots that may be starting to form. It doesn't take care of water spots that have been there, but any new fresh water spots that may have happened during that particular wash knocks it out. So that's
Have you tried that with ceramic gloss? Because Ivan contends that our product, though it doesn't market in the same way, has the same chemistry to do that. Because we've had a lot of people reach out, like, do you have a lime scale removing detailer? And Ivan and I had a long conversation about this. He's like, we don't market it that way, but it will do that.
It will do that. Okay, so how will it do that?
That's an Ivan LaCroix question.
That's an Ivan LaCroix question.
Yeah, so it's a chemistry question that he would be the guy to answer. And so, okay, Ivan, I know you're listening. And,
I just got a fresh gallon of ceramic gloss. I'm going to test it the whole summer, and at the end of the summer, I'm going to drop a review on it.
Hey, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But Ivan and I had a long conversation.
I'm coming for
I'm like passing it to Ivan. Love you, Ivan. No, but seriously, there's a lot of marketing in this industry, and that was the conversation we had. Is like the chemistry of our product, like it will do that as well.
Nice.
So shots fired if I'm wrong. Jamie the cleaner.
Someone left a comment on one of my videos the other day, said it did a similar thing. So I do.
Really?
Someone did tell me about it in the comment section. So I'll definitely check it out.
Dude, water spots are the worst though, man.
Worst.
Like, worst. It can be such a time killer. Like if you've foamed up the whole car and you've detailed the inside and the exterior, whatever, and you're getting ready to send it and you're like, oh, there's water spots on the windshield and on the pillars. Oh no, on the piano black. And you're just like,
yeah, the worst spot for me is trucks come in and the back glass, sometimes it's hard to get to back there with the wash mitt. Sometimes you don't get enough water back there. So that spots up really bad. So recently I've actually had a couple incidents where maybe I didn't grab the acidic deal or dry fast enough, but I just been taking DIY gold standard polish. I spritz it in my towel and then just run over that back windshield real quick, wipe it off, good to go.
You know what I love about gold standard polish is like you can do a really fast not a mow down, but like you could buzz box, whatever. I haven't you could just polish fast. Like if you're not going for defect removal, but you're just trying, like let's say you're trying to get like just shave off some water spots from a whoopsie kind of wash. You could throw it on there and you could just hit the paint. I'm not worried about dusting. I'm not worried about trim. Boom. And it's like, I don't know, man. There's just there's a lot of great ways to use all these products, and it's fun to discover them, right? And it's like nice to have stuff that works when you need it to work.
Yeah, the DIY gold standard polish has been one of the most versatile polishes I think come out, in some time. It's tremendous.
Do you use the Rotary?
No, I do not use a Rotary. I just got a forced rotation that I'm going to start working into my system.
Did you buy it or did someone send it to you?
Someone sent it to me.
Are you excited to try it?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. Give it a try. I've used one before in a training, and it was pretty awesome. Keeps going.
Right.
But I'll check it out.
I never felt like I could get the finish that I wanted to out of a forced rotation.
Oh yeah.
But some people like love it for just a dual action compounding kind of tool, and then some people kind of figure out how to make it work. And I think on certain paints, like maybe a gray paint or a white paint or hard paint, you're not worried about like, micro marring or little little things that you'd see on finicky black paint. So you could just go for shine. And I love that this is like a DIY channel too. It's like, I just like, so we actually started in June of last year. So we're coming up on a year anniversary. I started watching. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Feels like y'all been around a couple years now.
Does it really?
Yeah, I think it feels like y'all are pretty established at this point.
Yeah, we've been pedal to the metal since June when we started releasing YouTube videos last year. But I listened to some of the ways that I first talked about iron decontamination today, and the audio quality wasn't great and the video quality wasn't superb or whatever. But I was like, this clay towel, and we call it the decontamination towel now, but the perforated synthetic decontamination towel. But I was like, a clay towel is what pros use. But you can do this too, and I thought it was interesting the way that I approached it, because now we almost talk to everybody like they're kind of like an entry-level prosumer pro, and they kind of know what a clay towel is. But the reality is everyone's just kind of learning, right? And like a forced rotation machine, like if it can get you shine, just like Ivan takes out the dual action sander and gets you shine on paint, like that's superpower for most people who don't know how to do this stuff, and just to start to learn it. And then a lot of that is nuance after that.
Yeah, speaking of the forced rotation and DIY, like literally Harbor Freight just dropped a new forced rotation polisher in Harbor Freight. Like how crazy is that? That kind of the DIY market's progressed so much that Harbor Freight's like, we need to, advance our polishers.
What's it called? The Harbor Freight model? Like the
what is it?
Hercules, Venom, something like.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up right now. But no, I've seen a lot of people talk about it. What are the reviews out so far?
I think that it's heavy, but it's good. I was gonna buy one. Eddie won't let me buy one. He says no.
Why?
No so when we talk, it's kind of like
Hercules.
No backtracking. Like if we're gonna buy a new vacuum, we're buying the $800 vacuum. You know what I'm saying? So
Eddie's like me. He likes the nice stuff. The reality is the nice. I mean, I do believe in buy nice or buy twice. But like, there's also the reality that it's a $900 vacuum. So
yeah, I think it's going to pay itself off.
So what did you spend, and did you get any specs? Did you get a longer hose? Like, what was your final price tag on the Master Blaster vacuum?
No, I just bought the vacuum. We'll see if I have a 30-foot hose. So I'm going to try and finagle that bad boy on there. But I don't know if you have to buy specific stuff for that vacuum. Probably do. That's where they get you.
You'll figure it out. If you know how to weld, you're the DIY guy, Jamie.
I'm the DIY guy. I'll make it happen.
So what is your sense of the detailing industry in summer of 2023? Like, you've been in the game for a few years now. Like, what's the pulse of the audience that follows you, the brands that reach out to you? Like, just give me a sense of where things are from where you stand.
I think it's in a pretty strong place, pretty positive. It's a wide question, but I mean, recently just going to that Chicago event, that was the first of its kind where we like had this almost like Lollapalooza type event where we all gathered vendors, creators, and then let fans in for a meet and greet. And it's pretty wild. So very interesting, circumstance. Who'd have thought talking about soap on the internet would get you to an event like that?
Do you ever have moments where you're like, what am I doing with my life? I'm talking about cleaning wheels and soap. No,
talking about soap.
You believe it. You believe in it. Yeah.
No, I'm doing a podcast almost twice a week now and make a video and TikToks and this and that. I say at the beginning, top of my TikTok, it says I review car soap. That's it. That's what we're doing here. And it's a good time.
So where can they find your podcast? What are your two podcasts every week?
The Cleaner Cast, and we just started one called The Detail Roast with Eddie Cologne.
Ooh,
and that one's a monthly podcast, but the Cleaner Cast is a weekly podcast. I started it about a year ago, probably about 14 months now. And we bring on kind of our opinion of the top brands in the industry. You yourself have been on twice now, and probably about to be on again for that year anniversary, I believe. That's a good idea to have a yearly podcast with DIY Detail. But, have the top brands in the industry, like you were saying, my opinion on like brands and stuff. I think we've really elevated the game in products. Even if you look at the Walmart aisle, like it's elevated itself to a point where
totally,
it's getting, the cool detail brushes, it's getting better towels, this and that. I still don't think it's professional level or nothing like that, but they're getting way better than where I started, 15 years ago down that aisle was just horrendous. And
you started 15 years ago?
Well, I'm 30, what's this year? 33. I just turned 33.
Happy birthday, Jamie.
My first car when I was like 16, 18, 17, somewhere in there. So since then, I've been throwing down on vehicles.
That's so true though. Even when I started detailing, like I remember some of those products there, and now I know I could go in there and would you go to O'Reilly or AutoZone or Walmart if you were looking for products? Like my gut tells me I'd probably end up at like AutoZone or O'Reilly. It's been a minute since I've gone to any of them for products, but like in a pinch.
I'd go to one of those stores, auto parts stores,
because they have a great lineup too of almost to the point where, and I don't know if that's a goal of ours as a company, but like it might be kind of cool to get into one of those stores. I know that McKee's was in there with Hydro Blue for a minute. I don't know if they're still in.
Riots is in AutoZone. They got polishers and pads.
Yep.
So AutoZone's pretty legit.
Heck yeah. So I'm looking at reviews for the Harbor Freight Hercules.
Oh, you pulled it up? What's it saying?
This is a great polisher. Feels very similar to my Flex 3401 for the fraction of the price.
That's a huge compliment.
$120 for this polisher.
$120. Yeah, I was literally looking at it with my super coupon in hand, so it would have been like $100.
Really?
Yeah. It's like 20% off. I'm pretty sure it worked on it. It might not work on it, but I was going to try it.
This guy said, words can't describe. They hit it out of the park. I needed a forced rotation dual action polisher to get through an oxidized 30-foot boat. I was sticker shocked at the polishers until I hit this bad boy. Well, this is someone who's probably never tried any other polishers, so it's hard to think in my head that, like, does that stack up to all the other ones? But hey, if you use it and it works for you, then that's a legit review, obviously. I've seen some of the YouTube guys on there talking about this polisher. I really want to try it.
Yeah, but I'm sure you need to change the grease immediately if you're going to do it even on a weekend basis, or that thing's going to burn itself up pretty quickly. Yeah, the Harbor Freight ones, if you didn't change that grease, they were going to be burned up in like a month.
Yeah. It has a 6-inch hook and loop backing pad included, 25-foot durable rubber cord. Interesting. Well,
super long cord.
I don't know. I just know that Ivan has truly convinced me that the Rotary polisher has a place in my detailing arsenal. Like, I truly enjoy finishing down paint now. Our red foam Rotary Julienne pad is coming out soon, which is freaking amazing. Like, it's super thick, fat foam. So when you're up against emblems, you can polish and you're not worried about it.
Right.
Like the backing plate hitting paint. It's hard to explain, but visually I'm editing a couple of videos now with it, and it's really nice. So I think that's a huge asset that like Ivan has brought to the DIY and professional community, is like the idea that the rotary polisher is a fantastic tool, because I think that the dual action craze took over it and nobody was really talking about rotaries anymore.
No.
Like the hardcore guys still cut with the rotaries a lot.
Yep.
Ivan says, you know, cut with the dual action, finish with the rotary most time, but cut with a 21 millimeter. And at first I didn't understand it either until you get do you ever cut with a 21 millimeter polisher?
I've ran a 15 for a long time. I think I got.
Yeah, me too.
I think the one I got is 20. No, I'm still running 15s.
Yeah, so when you cut with a 21 and a wool pad, then you're like, oh, now I know why Ivan says the dual action cuts faster, right? Because when you get the 21 millimeter, yeah, it's just a more aggressive.
Yeah, because it's such a long throw. I mean, it's like.
Yeah.
It's chopping some wood.
All right, so tell me this: what detailing product from our lineup have you enjoyed the most?
Well, obviously, incredible suds. Take it to FoamTown USA, put in your foam can, 1 ounce, highly concentrated, 8.5 pH, has some cleaning power to it. I mean, it's just incredible, incredibly slick, good stuff there. So that's the top of the charts for me. Literally, I'm not lying. It's literally my favorite soap, my number 1 rated foam cannon soap. Good time. I like it has the versatility of it because of that little slight higher of a pH. You know, you can use it to decon. You can pair it up with the clay towel, wash, clay right after. It's pretty much going to strip whatever is on the surface, and then you can use it for maintenance as well.
I love Incredible Suds as like the bed, the lubrication for your decon process for sure, because it's so slick anyway as a soap, you know.
Yep.
So are you the mayor of FoamTown, or tell me about FoamTown?
I guess I'm the mayor. You know, people call me the mayor, so I guess I'm the mayor of FoamTown. It's just, it's a one. I think I'm the only person living here in FoamTown in my garage.
No, we're living there with you. I wonder.
Okay, you're here too. Okay.
What do you think it is about foam? Why do people love foam so much?
It's just fun. You know, even going back to washing that, paint peeling, wheeling, squealing Ford Taurus, 96 Ford Taurus used to have. Now you see on TikTok like the hack, you put the dish soap in your water hose and put the thing on, and you got the kind of the homemade foam cannon. I was doing that way back in the day, except I would just pull the stream and drip the Dawn soap into the stream and foam. So I've been foaming cars from the beginning.
Really?
So it's all, I love it. It's a good time.
So it's almost like fire. It's like this primal thing.
Put the soap on the car, let it do its thing, and then wash, over it.
It's like fire though. Like it touches into our primal brain. Like if I see suds, something's happening. If I see fire,
it's doing its job. That's right.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie. Well, I think this is a pretty comfortable, casual conversation about Jamie the Cleaner. What is coming down the line for you? Do you see yourself ever being affiliated with a brand? Are you going to be your own business forever? Like in your hypothetical future plans, like what is the dream? What do you think might happen? Like what does the future hold for you?
The immediate future is my startup company that had the cleaner stash going, kind of shut down. They lost funding, so that's no more. So now I've got to figure out a new deal with affiliate links. So we'll see how that
you don't have the cleaner stash anymore.
No, the only working promo code I got now is that DIY detail with promo Jamie 10. So yeah, that's on the back burner. Well, actually, it's just gone. But
wow. So promo JAMIE10 for 10% off your order at DIY Detail.
Yeah, that'll help a brother out. Get you some incredible suds. But
so the cleaner stash is no more.
It's no more. It was a little startup company. I was kind of the big fish for them, trying to get started. Simultaneously had the podcast, so I would bring brands on, talk to you, be like, hey, you want to join this? And then, they just didn't get it rolling fast enough to kind of keep up with, whoever was funding them over there in Silicon Valley. But it was fun. It was a fun little, that's kind of what I do. I kind of, get an opportunity. I'm like, let's see where it goes. And, if it crashes and burning, kind of like this one did, it is what it is. We'll keep rolling.
Well, because there's certain things you can plan out, and there's certain things that just have to organically unfold as it goes.
Right.
Because you can't plan every little detail out. It's unrealistic, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's not what life is about. You got to take a chance, see how it goes.
Okay, so that's over. So that must be a big deal for you. So then, like, what is that? Where are you at in your headspace?
No, fired up now. Let's I don't know, start talking to these brands, see what y'all want to do. Maybe link up some other way. I don't know. Y'all got a good affiliate program going anyway, so pretty good. But yeah,
you were like one of the MCs at the rag company TRCMA, man. That was a big deal. Like,
okay, so
the amount of eyeballs that were on you there, I'm like, this is awesome for you. Like, what great, I guess, publicity and experience for you.
Oh yeah, it was a great time. Very excited to be there and be a part of the we're kind of the first creators they brought on board, because that's usually just vendors, doing their thing. And they brought me and Dewar in to run a little mid-show entertainment. And I think we killed it. And I think we'll be back next year.
Yeah, I think I interrupted you too, so I feel bad. But I just saw your shirt. And were you going to say something earlier about affiliate programs, creator status?
Oh, yeah. See what these brands want to do affiliate-wise. See if, maybe make some, I don't know. We'll get some more promo codes going, do our thing, foam some videos, foam some soap in some videos, do that kind of deal. But what was the rag company is supposed to fire back up the Grand Ambassador program this year. So my goal is to get back in that, because it's supposed to be kind of an all-star season. Wow. I want to return to TRCMA next year in 2024 as the champion, the all-time Grand Ambassador,
Not
deal.
Grand Ambassador of the Year. You're talking about.
I'm talking about all-time greatest Grand Ambassador there's ever been.
Ooh,
that's what I'm going for.
Perfect Detail USA is pretty hot right now.
Yeah, he is. He's hard to keep up with, actually. He's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Love Brad. Brad's awesome. But I want to do that. Get back to TRCMA. I want Ivan to have a microfiber championship belt for the award ceremony. I have it all planned out. But first, they got to get it going. I got to get back in, and I got to win this thing. So that's kind of the immediate future, and then we'll go from there.
What was your wrestling name back in the day?
I didn't make it that far where we got to that kind of creative wise. So when you start out, they just probably would have called me Jamie and threw me out there, and had like a 2-minute match for like a year. And then you kind of progress from there into more character building and stuff. So I didn't make it that far. I was right before I was about to have like my first match and got hurt, did like 8 weeks of rehab, got my knee back on straight, and then went off to detailing.
But you didn't have a fantasy of like what your name would be? Come on now.
Had like James Payne running through my head at some point. I remember.
I like James Payne.
Jamie the Cleaner's kind of wrestling. My logo is actually modeled after like Bret Hart, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Okay.
They wore pink a lot, so threw some pink in there. Got the sunglasses. Bret Hart wore sunglasses. Macho Man sunglasses. So that's what the logo is modeled after, and how it went.
Man, it's always a great time chatting with the one and only James Payne, Jamie the Cleaner, JTC.
Oh boy,
TikTok's hottest detailer right now. Actually, Jessica Tran, I feel like is the. Jessica Tran's got a huge following.
Huge. Yeah.
You know who else has a huge following? And I knew him on YouTube. I didn't on TikTok. Is WD Details.
WD Details. He's big. JT big. I mean, Brad from Perfect Details, pretty big deal.
Yeah, Mad Detailing. I think I've never met that guy.
Big deal.
They're I think north of 1 million. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's fun to watch how people can take cleaning cars and turn it into a means to, help people, means to make money, a means to be creative. Like it's, but I just love like learning from. Do you ever like learn something from another detailer online and like never give them credit for it and be like, oh, I love that. I'm gonna go like try that.
Yeah, I usually I'm pretty good about giving credit.
Yeah.
Credit to you. Yeah, I learned something. I'll give them a little shout out. Like even the spotless hack where I repacked the spotless system, Humberto sent me that link. So in that video, I go, shout out to Humberto. Sent me this link, taught me a little something. And, I did that little video. But Nick, I wanted to ask you about
hold on. But not saying like you steal it and you don't give them credit, but like maybe they never know that you learned something from them and then you're just using it when you're detailing, not for a video. Like, okay, so this is my confessional. So Jessica Tran recently had a video where she was showing, and I haven't ever mentioned this, but I was trying to recently. I'm like, why did of course this works. where she's like, put your hand down further on the vacuum to get better control, like to get up all the crumbs. Like if you have your vacuum down here and here's the floor, it's better to get all the way down. And I don't know, it was like so small and simple, but it was just some little tip she gave me, and I'm like, thank you, Jessica Tran. So anyway,
that's what she's real good at, dropping little nuggets like that. Like she'll just like use her finger and run it through like the little door seal that you know, and you're like, I get a little brush and get in there. She's like, no, use your finger, just scrape it all out, and you're good.
I love that. Okay, coding question. Go ahead.
Coating question. So I'm about to go apply the 5-year exterior ceramic coating. So what are kind of the highlights and features of the 5-year from the 3 and the 8?
So the 5 years are highest gloss. Like you're going to get the most gloss out of this. So actually some people have asked like on matte paint, which coating should I use? Does it matter? And the one I actually tell them, I'm like, of all of them, like the 3 and the 8 year, I'd probably use those. Because with matte paint, you're going to get a little bit of a sheen, but not a ton of gloss with any of these coatings. But the 5-year, because it is our glossiest, I probably wouldn't use it. But you know, you're going to be fine. It's just if you're going to choose one or the other. I find that it you know, in terms of just the solid count and everything, it's a very it has like it's a high solid coating. So it's definitely like, it's a beast, man. I love our 5-year. I honestly kind of find myself reaching for our 5-year when I'm coating cars. But I like them all, right? So I want gloss, right? Like the 8-year has the gloss and the slickness. But like the huge characteristic too there is like the durability, right? And that's how we had it scienced out. And then the 3-year graphene, you're going to get awesome slickness, water spot resistance. And the 5 years, like we just packed this to like give you gloss.
Nice.
It's going to do all the things that coatings do.
So how do you pack a coating with gloss?
So this is usually where I ask Ivan to explain it in a way that sounds super intelligent and erudite. But yeah, that has a lot to do with the highly paid chemist that has been in the business for decades.
Interesting.
And a lot of the R&D behind the scenes. So
okay. Well, on my 1-year anniversary, I'm going to remember these questions, and I'm going to hammer Ivan.
And that's the thing is like, I think Ivan and I make a good team because people know Ivan is a walking encyclopedia of detailing. They know that about him. And I can offer you probably better answers than the one I just did. But I'm also like, I used to be in news broadcasting, right? And like sometimes the anchor would be in the studio and you'd be out in the field, and it was your job to become an expert on the subject of your story in a day. And you may be on a live report where things were a little bit more live, breaking, like a little bit less scripted. And like, Nick, what are authorities telling you about the reason why the murder happened? It's like, you know, John, I don't know the answer to that question, but what I can do is go ask, and then when we come back on in the next half hour, I'll tell you what they had to say, right? And so I just always am like, in terms of being honest, like I don't always have the best answers on the chemistry side, because even when I am involved in the discussions and hear the explanations, like I have to write it down and I have to like tell it to myself 10 times to understand. I don't have a chemistry degree. I am not an organic chemist. Like,
yeah, chemistry's hard.
and so I like knowing all that stuff, and I know that detailers love knowing the why and the explanation. That's why Ivan, I think, is like honestly a brilliant voice in our industry. Like no joke.
Yeah,
like
what's cool about Ivan is he's tackled, you know, he's been in every spot like in the industry, like detailer, even content creator, influencer, to you know, chemistry side. Like he's done it all.
He has done it all. And where I sit though is like what you and Brad were saying, like where my sweet spot is, I just want to know that it works. Right. And I know that's part of this conversation, but once I trust that it works, this is legit, I want to be like you and Brad. I want to apply the coating.
That's right.
I want to know to let 50% of it disappear, and I want to wipe, right? I want to level it. And I know that it's working, right? But I know that, you know, my responsibility is to communicate a lot of the why as well. And I probably rely on Ivan a little bit more than I should to kind of be the encyclopedic voice. But again, I always like to be honest with people, and I feel like people appreciate that about me. It's like, if you want the longer explanation, I can absolutely get it for you, and make sure that we answer that question for you. But needless to say, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the 5-year coding after you apply it.
I think I'm going to make a video on it, so you'll see the results hopefully soon. It's so hot outside. Every time I think about making a video, I'm like, you gotta get yourself pumped up.
You know what would be a good video? You could be sitting there like gosh, I'm about to apply this 5-year code. I wonder what Ivan would say, and then make a little bell ding, and then in the corner, Ivan could be like a little like thought bubble, or in the middle of the thought bubble, be like, Jamie, here's what you should know, and you could like have like a conversation with Ivan, like, thanks, Ivan. See, that's how I think. I just like thinking like funny and creative, and maybe that's not funny, but maybe it's not. You have to like work it, see if it works or not. But anyway,
all right. Well, I'm gonna check it out and have a good time.
You have a good time. You are a good time. It was great chatting with you on the DIY Detail podcast. Last chance, you want to plug anything else that you're up to, or where they can find you online, or any of your discount codes?
Jamie the Cleaner on all the things. Like I said, my only active discount code right now is Jamie10 over at DIYdetail.com. And you can listen to the Cleaner Cast on all platforms, live on YouTube every Friday, 6 p.m. Central Time to 7. It's exactly an hour every week.
So that'll air later this evening if you're listening to this on Friday, June 2nd.
Oh, right. Yeah. So we'll be live in here in a little bit, probably, on Jamie the Cleaner YouTube channel. And then the Detail Roast is a monthly podcast. Me, Eddie Clone, Alex Stewart get together and argue about soap. So it's a good time.
It's one of the more important things to argue about in this crazy world. We got artificial intelligence and this and that. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. But if we can argue about soap, we know we're talking about the important stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
In all seriousness, though, that's part of what detailing, like, how it called to me, right? Is it just like it's a safe space in a lot of ways? It feels like a safe, not like a safe space like the politically correct. Like, I mean, like, it's a place where we can all come and not talk about all that nonsense, and we can just like talk about something we all enjoy, and just have a community around people who like clean cars. Like, you could debate it intellectually as to whether this matters or not, but it's like I love it. That's why I'm like, I love it. There's a beauty in that,
Nothing wrong with hot soap talk.
Ooh, hot soap. Is that where we're going with that?
Hot soap, man. I made a bucket.
Better, right?
I made a bucket the other day, getting ready to wash, and like the water hose had been in the sun for a while, so it was like the hottest bucket ever. And I went to wash, and I was like, "Geez, Louise."
Did it clean well?
I think so. I think it was actually flashing incredibly fast.
Oh, really?
So it was a bad time.
Too much?
Yeah, it was a little too hot.
I wonder if the combination of, because sometimes like hot water in the wintertime in like a garage cleans really well.
Yeah, I do hot rinseless buckets in the wintertime, and it is a good time. Yeah, that's a good time. Hot water buckets in the summertime, not a good time.
Not so much.
Cold water buckets, have some good time. Get you some incredible suds. Ceramic gloss help you with them water spots, apparently. I'll be putting that to test soon. That's all I got, Nick. Let's get out of here.
All right, brother. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, and if you want to see another podcast that I think could change your life, wait for it. It's going to be right here. See you guys.